In today's episode of the show, I want to talk about the most basic sales strategy of all time. And I would go as far as to say it's the one strategy that is guaranteed to always be effective. And in this time that we find ourselves in, where I'm hearing more and more that people are saying buying decisions are taking longer, signing clients is feeling harder, the algorithm is making you jump through burning hoops just to get your post in front of the right people. I'm hearing more and more that people are finding their business tough. And when things feel tough, I'm a big believer in going back to basics rather than layering on more complexity, more stuff, more hustle, more grind, more grit, more determination, rather than layering on more. When times feel tough, we're always much better stripping back, taking things away, taking away distraction, taking away noise, and using strategies that are fail safe and foolproof. And the one that I'm going to share with you today, I believe, is that totally and utterly fail safe. This will work for whoever uses it in whatever niche, whatever day of the week. It doesn't matter, right? Anybody can use this strategy. And I'm talking about connection, okay? The connection strategy, in particular, DMs and voice notes, okay? So I'm talking about the art of conversation. Now, what I want to remind you of is just because we do business online, yeah, whether that's through Zoom, whether that's through Instagram, whether it's through LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, whatever platform you are on, whatever way you deliver your programs, we are usually working through a screen. We're working online, we're working through VPNs, through Wi Fi. And I think sometimes that makes people see this strategy as maybe a bit too basic, or maybe it won't work because it doesn't work the same online. But the reality is that humans want to feel connection. As humans, we want relationships, we want to feel a sense of belonging, a sense of togetherness. And so the art of conversation, when you use it in the online space, is no different than if you were sat next to somebody in a coffee shop. Okay, so I want you to remember everything that I'm about to share with you, just because we deliver it through an Instagram voice note, through a LinkedIn message, through a Zoom call, doesn't make it any different. It's still two humans connecting. So, what I'm about to share with you, I gave to the girls that came away on retreat with me in Dubai. I literally sat at the table with them and I played them a voice note that I would send to a new follower. And I think some of the girls were maybe a little bit shocked at how basic it was. I didn't pitch an offer. I didn't even talk about any of my offers. I didn't talk about sales. I didn't talk about my programs. I didn't talk about being a coach, being a mentor. I didn't talk about any of that. I literally just spoke to the human being who had hit the follow button to come and join my Instagram audience. And the message went something along the lines of, "Hey, lovely, thought I would just reach out and drop in and say hi. I saw that you followed, so thank you so much for following along. Welcome to my community. You may or may not already know that, I share content helped to help you like build your business, to help you make money online, help you make sales." I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was something along those lines. I'm really grateful that you followed along. I'm big on connection. I'm big on community. I'd love to get to know you. Like, tell me what's going on for you. What's feeling good? What's maybe not feeling good? Like, how are things? It was really basic, really, really basic. And in fact, if I remember, I will transcribe the message and put it in the show notes for this episode. And if I forget to do that, message me on Instagram. If you really want the transcription of a typical voice note, then, and I forget to do it, message me on Instagram and I'll send it to you. Okay. So, or it may be that if you follow me on Instagram, I will just send you a message like that anyway. In fact, yeah, let's do that. Sorry, where was I? I got sidetracked. So yeah, this basic strategy of just reaching out to a brand new follower, When I shared it with the girls in Dubai, they were all like, right, you're absolutely right, Rach. Let's go back to basics. Let's do these, easy to implement, non complicated strategies. Yes, we can go off and do a live launch. Yes, we can go and build funnels and use systems and tech to facilitate all of our online strategies. But sometimes the basic ones are the best because I don't know how many followers, like you each get a day, but it wouldn't take that long to send a 30 to 60-second message to each one to welcome them into your community. That doesn't take a lot of brain power, it doesn't take a lot of time. It just takes a bit of effort and making it become a habit. Now, the result, and I've been back from Dubai a week, and the girls, therefore, have been using this strategy for a week. And already they're seeing people signing up into programs and offers with them as a result of this strategy. Because what happens when you reach out to somebody in such a genuine, authentic way and welcome them to your community and ask them like one or two questions at the end of that voice note, not loads of questions, you don't need to know their life story, you don't need to know the ins and outs of everything. Just a 30 to 60-second message. When you do that, I guarantee you what they will say back to you is, thank you for such a warm message. Thank you for welcoming me to your community. They will be genuinely grateful that you took the time. Some of the replies that I have go along the lines of, so good to hear your voice, or thank you for taking the time, or it was lovely to find out a little bit more about you. And then they go on to tell me about them. There is nothing overly businessy about that first couple of messages, okay? But what happens, and I promise this will happen for you, if you stay focused on this as your outcome, as you get to know them and as they see more of your content, because what happens when you're DMing somebody, the algorithm knows that you and that person are having a conversation. So when you post, the people that you are having DM conversations with will be way more likely to see your posts. Okay. So you sending out DMs to new followers, to maybe people who watch your stories or people who comment on your posts, that in turn is going to help you to get engagement. And if they're seeing posts of yours that are talking about your offers, what you've got going on, maybe, something new that you're launching, whatever that is, they're more likely to see it and therefore more likely to like it, more likely to comment on it, but also more likely to read it and get to know who you are and what you do. And that's ultimately what you want your audience to be doing, right? You want people to know who you are, what you do, how you specifically help, what results you specifically help your clients to get. And if that resonates and connects with them, guess what's going to happen? They're going to reach out to you and say, oh, I just saw your post about, XYZ offer. Can you tell me more about that? Yeah. So my homework, I guess, if I was going to give you homework from listening to this episode of the show, I would say to set yourself 15, 20 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be a long time, to literally sit and send out voice notes to your new followers, to people that are regularly watching your stories, to people that are regularly liking and commenting on your posts, and just get to know them on a human level. You aren't sending out a pitch, right? That is not what your homework is. Please, please do not send out a sales pitch. And definitely don't tell anyone that I told you to do it, because that is not something that I want to teach you. Cold outreach doesn't work, right? We're not selling, we're just connecting. Okay. Now, when you connect with these people, I would love you to come and share back with me how that goes. Yeah. And don't forget, I want to give you the transcription of the message, right? So if I don't put it in the show notes, just because I realize I'm recording this late at night, I might forget. Message me on Instagram and ask me for the transcription of the voice note so that you can literally rinse and repeat that message in your business too. Okay. So you got your homework. Have you written it down? Have you put it in your notes app? Have you put it in your calendar? I want you to do this every single day without fail. 15, 20 minutes max. Doesn't have to be a long time. Not asking you to spend an hour. Literally 15 minutes, and it will pay dividends. I would even go as far as to say, and this is a big, bold thing that I'm about to say, if you spend 15 minutes a day voice noting people who are following you, I think that will help you sign a client, at least one, within a month. Now, that might sound like a really big promise, and please don't come for me if that doesn't happen, but you are way more likely to sign a client by doing this than you are, showing up, feeling the energy of desperation and frustration. You're way more likely to sign a client through genuine conversation sometimes than you are through content where you are talking about your offers. Okay. So as you can hear, I'm about to have a coughing fit. So I'm going to, I'm going to stop talking, let you make a note of your homework, and I would love you to come and let me know how you get on with this strategy. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And as I always ask you to do, if you think this will help even just one person that you know, please would you share this? Let's really help to get the message out there that, if you want to become an online sales queen, there is Rach Howard pouring her heart into this podcast every single week so that women like you can win, so that women like you can make sales, so that women like you can build successful longevity businesses. Yeah, long-term, sustainable, healthy, profitable businesses. That is what I want for you. That is what we're doing. That is what I know that you want too. And so, yeah, if you know somebody that wants to become an online sales queen, please do share this episode so that we can spread the love and expand the community. I will see you next week for another juicy episode of Becoming an Online Sales Queen.